Welcome to the show. It's What the Fuck Wednesday instead of Tuesday. This is the craziest relationship advice show that you will ever see on the internet. I have to say, hands down, it's just like the people that write in are on some kind of special level. I don't even know what to say. But anyway, let me tell you about your cousin, Candace. Let me tell you about your cousin. Your girl is raggedy and ratchet. Luckily, you guys, the vote ended up being in favor of today. But I have to tell you, she didn't even care because she has access to the email, she has access to the channel because she logs on as me. In times when I can't do it, she logs on as me, so she has all the access information. So she just politely went in there and changed the date to today anyway, regardless of what y'all said. And then she told me it don't matter what they say because you ain't doing an 8 question show. You're gonna wait and do it tomorrow. And so there you go. That's how that happened. But luckily, like I said, it worked out because you guys ultimately agreed with her. But I just want you to know that according to her, my vote nor your votes even counted. It was all about her, what she wanted. We were irrelevant in the situation, in the equation. We just didn't matter. So that's what that was all about. I know. Anyway, so here we are with the 25 questions. She finished them up today. So let's get started because I still, every time I forget to go in and my advice form is broke, something happened. So the limits that I had placed on there, it's not doing it. And so people are writing these like books. And I keep forgetting to go in there and change it. Okay, so here we go. Question number 1. And I remind everybody, if you wrote in a letter, be sure to, listen not only to me, but also look in the chat and see what they have to say because they may augment my answer or have a completely different perspective. So between the two sides, you should get the information that you need to make a decision that's in your own best interest. So this is a young lady in the 22 to 28 age group. She's black from Houston, Texas. And the male in question is 28 to 34, and he's from Austin. Summary of issue, wondering if this is worth breaking up over. I'm of the mind if you have to ask yourself that, the answer is yes. So I'm having some serious doubts about my new relationship. We recently made it official and almost immediately ran into a problem that has left me hurt and confused. So I'm going to visit him in a couple of days and stay over for a week. And the idea was that at the end of the week, I would meet his son for a short introduction at a cafe. The boyfriend has hyped our relationship, our meeting up a lot, expressing constantly how happy he is about it and how we'll step towards a future together, meaning I can stay with him longer when I come to visit. We are long distance. Yeah, Houston to Austin is a pretty good little haul, but see each other fairly often and then living together eventually. At the moment, I can't stay for too long because he has a son every other week, and we haven't met yet. Yet to take it gradually to not burden a boy with a stranger. He has seen my pictures though and heard a couple of voice messages. Yesterday morning, my boyfriend was still all happy and excited, but then some hours later, he had a conversation with his ex, who is also dating someone else and recently introduced him to their son. And she has completely freaked out about me meeting him. She pretty much tried to forbid it and has spent an entire hour talking about how I'm way too new. Did I forget? Did she say how long they was dating? I'm sorry, that's why I got stuck. I was like, way too new. Did she say how long they had been dating? No, I don't see it. Anyway, I'm way too new to be introduced to his son and came up with some recent times his son was feeling sad and unsure about his dad being abroad visiting me. Apparently, the son wasn't sure if the dad was coming back, although I'm sure this was an exaggeration because he gave the son a video call. Okay, so she was overseas for a minute. So my boyfriend does a complete 180 on me after the conversation. Suddenly, it's too early for us to meet. He's apparently a poopy dad to his son for being me around me, visiting too often, and has to do better, that kind of thing. In any case, I do not deal well with sudden changes in behavior in a romantic relationship. He was selling me this beautiful idea of slowly getting to know his son and our possible future together. Then one call with an ex and he took it all away. To say he was apologetic is an underestimate. He did apologize profusely and promised to someday introduce us, but I feel backstabbed and stupid. Understand that there might be a truth to what he's as being too early, but it was dealt with in such a backstabbing way, in my opinion. His mind changed completely in a matter of hours after talking to the explosive ex, So I feel like she will always have to way to guilt trip and manipulate him by appealing to his fatherly guilt. Do you think there is a point for us to continue? I think the magic of our relationship that we experienced so far, and it did indeed feel a bit magical, is lost now. And I feel like the ex can enter at any time and convince him that anything he does for me is hurting his kid, and he will just flip on me. What do I do? Well, the thing that's missing here, because as I was reading, you still don't reference how long you've been dating this dude. Usually that's the first thing that women say. So since you haven't mentioned it, it kind of makes it seem like it hasn't been that long, like weeks versus months or years. So I'm going to have to say I agree with the baby mama. The reason why is if you don't have any kids, you don't, and I don't think she should have introduced him to her dude unless he's been around for a long time either. But let's just focus on you right now. And I'm going to say this, little kids get attached. If they like somebody, they get emotionally attached to that person. So then if you guys who aren't married break up, the kid suffers. I mean, adults can handle those emotions a lot better and a lot easier than children can. But I mean, the mother's looking out for her kid, and the dad probably came to the realization that she was right, that it was too soon. So you have two choices. Either you can roll with it and respect those parents' wishes about their kid, because not your kid, okay? You don't know the little boy, ain't met him, don't know anything about his emotional makeup, his mental state, his special needs, and you don't know anything. So if it were me, I would kind of back away from this. First of all, I don't do long distance. Some people might say, well, Austin to Houston's not that long. It's a long drive. I've done it. It's a long ass haul. So for me, that wouldn't work. He would be in the geographically undesirable range. And not only that, I don't deal with baby mamas, and I definitely don't want to deal with nobody's kid. Okay. My daughter's grown. She could have kids of her own at this point, but she doesn't. And so I don't want to deal with nobody else's little brat kid. So, that's what you have to think about. This is going to be the situation. I mean, he just showed it to you right now. This woman is going to have a lot of influence, as she should, over, her child. And you have to just decide if that's something you want to be bothered with or not. It's that simple. It sent you, well, at least it sent you one, Giggles. People be saying they don't get one at all. Question number 2. This is a man in the 28 to 34 age group from San Diego, California. Summary of issue. How do you handle a discussion about income when your girlfriend makes a lot more than you? I'm dating a woman who makes possibly double what I do. We both have professional jobs, but she's an executive with a more demanding position. This doesn't really bother me since she lives a normal lifestyle and is very practical. This is going to come up, though, sooner or later, and I'd like to handle it tactfully. I don't want to feel uncomfortable or less of a partner because of it. Why would you feel like less? I mean, aren't you doing, your best for yourself? If you're not doing your best and there's something you can do to make yourself better than what you are, then why are you not doing it? If I can ask you that quick, it's gonna be in the back of her mind. Not to say that a man's worth is based on his values worth on his income, but if you see that you got a lady who's pulling down twice as much as you are, and y'all in the same age group, both in professional fields, then what? Does she got more education than you? Did she go into a different field of study than you did? So she's, at a higher income level, in a higher income bracket for her type of job. I mean, you didn't really give that much information. This is a very short letter, but I'm sure if I'm telling you, dude, if I would think to ask that question, are you really doing your best? Then she's going to be asking it too. So you have to give that some thought. When you do have this income conversation and you have, that she gives you that questioning look, what are you going to say? Are you going back to school? You going to get you an MBA? What you going to do? A JD? What? What are you going to do to make yourself more and better than what you are right now? Are you just okay with, being the way that you are? Think about that. If you're okay with it, I mean, that's fine. But I'm just telling you, just have your answer ready. So that because she's gonna ask you. She's going to ask you, even if the words don't come out, she's gonna be giving you that look. So you better have a response ready. That's all I can tell you. Because I sure would want to know, well, is this it? This is you gonna be resting on your laurels the rest of your life in this position that you're in right now? There's nothing more coming. This is it. Women like improvement. Women like to see growth, change, betterment. That excites us. And if you're not that kind of dude, and she's obviously go getter, your relationship might not be lasting too long. Yes, he's be resting in his femininity. That's not going to be attractive to her. No matter how cute he is and how good he puts down the pipe, she's going to be like looking at him like, well, what else is there? Question number 3. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group. She's African American from Atlanta. Oh, boy. Summary of issue. I got to admit, I am bitter as hell, she says. Okay. Somebody I follow on social media just posted about how they're dating, quote, the cutest guy in the world, end quote, and how happy they are. I thought, must be nice not to have been screwed over by the universe and had a boyfriend who was an abusive alcoholic like I did. I've never known what it was like to not be in a dysfunctional relationship. I haven't had good experiences with relationships. No way I would ever do another one after what happened between me and my ex. I did absolutely everything to make him happy, and it still wasn't enough. I did everything to make sure his needs were met, and the result was that I ended up tortured and then finally single and alone. Relationships just aren't worth it because nobody's able to give more than they take. At least nobody I've met. That's why I'm done. Okay. It's probably a good idea for you to be done until you get some therapy because, reading this is like you did absolutely everything to make him happy. Why would you do that? What was he doing to make you happy? See, I'm like, I'm gonna be. It's not like I'm a tit for tat, but when you're in the beginning stages of a relationship, you have to stay focused on how much this man is investing in you as a woman. What's he giving to you of himself? I'm not talking about what he buys you. I'm talking about what he's giving to you of himself, his time, his heart, his energy, his devotion, his kindness. What is he doing for you? Thoughtfulness, concern, respect? Those are the kind of things you should be looking for. So it's not the kind of thing where you should be in a relationship giving, 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 especially once you found out that he was abusive and especially once you found out that he was a drunk. So, we got to circle back to you. There's no point in you being bitter. There's no point in you being bitter. What you should do is kick your own ass for staying in a stupid relationship. So, I mean, you can't change anybody. Okay. You can't make them be who you want, what you want them to be. Our job as women, though, is when we get in a situation to recognize it for what it is. So recognize the man for what he is. And if he ain't shit motherfucker, then you just leave him alone. But no, that's not what you did. And then you want to be mad about it later and say you're bitter and you don't want to be in a relationship because people take more than they give. Why do you keep giving to in a situation where the man's not giving back to you? So do you see what I mean? As I keep asking these questions and keep circling back to you, having made stupid decisions and poor choices and having some kind of self-esteem issue where you think it's okay to keep giving to somebody who's not giving back to you. So that's why I say, I'm not trying to be mad at you. I'm just pointing this out to you so you understand the mistakes that you made and the situation that you got yourself into and stayed into. I mean, you can't help but get into it. But once you recognize for what it is, it was your responsibility to like, boop, deuce out, and you didn't. So now you want to be mad. No, you can't. We're not going to let you do that. The only person you can be mad at is yourself for being stupid. Okay? You chose this man, and then you stayed with this man in spite of all the red flags like a goddamn Chinese parade. You stayed in it. I saw one for New Year's. Red flags everywhere. But that's the color of luck for them in their culture. In this situation, it's a disaster. And yet you stayed. So, I'm looking at you. And if you wrote me thinking you're going to get some pity, it's not going to happen, chick. You better get your shit together. I wish I would. I told you the other dude, he's supposed to bring wine to my dinner that I had cooked and made my famous shrimp and chicken jambalaya for that nigga. and that nigga didn't bring my wine, I politely put all my stuff in my Tupperware and put it right in my refrigerator for my daughter and her friends to eat. And he's sitting his ass on the couch talking about, well, where's the food? I said, oh, I put it up. And he's like, why? I said, because you were supposed to bring the wine and you didn't. And it wasn't that he didn't, it was his, like he laughed about it, like it was funny that he thought he got away with something when I opened the door. And I was like, well, where's the wine? Oh, I didn't get it. And there's a grocery store right across the street from my house. I'm like, well, I don't feel like going. So he thought that he got away with it. So I feel like, okay, well, you don't feel like bringing the wine, which was your contribution to this meal. I just spent a fortune because shrimp is not cheap. And you gonna think you gonna still eat? I put my shit away, and he was so mad he left, and I'm like, bye bye. I don't know about how savage that was, but see, that's what I'm talking about. If you have good boundaries and you demand that people follow through and people treat you with respect, and if they don't, there are immediate and swift and heavy repercussions for their decisions on how they was going to mistreat and disrespect you. If more women did that, men would understand that they're not going to get away with a trick, and they would stop doing that shit. The reason they keep doing it is so many women let them get away with it. Because I could have been nice, saying, oh, that's all right. This and that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he was smirking like it was funny. Like he was so self-assured and just so, positively enthralled with himself and his little game to avoid spending $20 on a bottle of wine when I had spent probably about 50 buying that shrimp and the chicken and the andouille sausage and all the other stuff that goes in that pot of jambalaya. I was like, yeah, you ain't eating here. I don't know where you're going to eat, but it ain't going to be at my house, motherfucker. No, it's not. But, stuff like that, I don't know. I just cannot with these dudes. And this was a long time ago, long time ago, before I was nearly as savage as I am now. But like at this point where I am now, if I opened the door and he didn't have a wine, I would have shut the door in his face. But this was years ago and I was younger. And so I let him come in. He was sitting there watching TV and just all happy and stuff. And I'm in the kitchen putting my shit in my Tupperware, sticking it in the refrigerator. Because I had been sampling it as I went along, so I really wasn't that hungry. But, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And nobody taught me this. It just comes with being an evil little so-and-so with three brothers that you have to, you have to regulate on. And it was just something, I don't know, just a behavior I developed. So that's why I spent so much time trying to help you guys get at least a little bit of that in the way that you deal with me. And I'm not going to say you have to be like me, and it probably will be impossible for you to, completely flip to the other side. But if you could at least understand why you need to be that way sometimes, and then make a concerted effort to stand up for yourself and reinforce your boundaries with men when they don't do you right, then I think a lot of you wouldn't be hurt as much as you are, and you wouldn't waste so much time in relationship with men who aren't about nothing. They aren't about you at all. Yeah, that nigga went home mad and hungry, and it was smelling good up in my house. Oh my God. I was like, ooh. I went outside, to lock the gate because he had to go through the patio. So I had to lock the patio, the outer gate. Then I came in, I closed the sliding glass door. And when I came back in, I was like, oh, it smells hella good up in here. I know he just was thinking he was going to be grubbing since that motherfucker McDonald's. Question number 4. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Seattle, Washington. So I had a decent first date last night. He seemed like a nice guy. We had good banter and conversation in the beginning. However, he seemed to get really drunk after the first drink, and that made the rest of the date a bit awkward. I think he was aware that he was very drunk and a bit embarrassed, so he cut the date short because of that. He complimented me enough where I got the vibe that he was interested. Anyway, at the end of the date, he walked me to the bus station and we briefly hugged. I told him it was nice meeting him. He said the same. And then I started walking away and he still kept talking, saying to say hi to my dog for him and then saying we should speak soon. It was a bit awkward goodbye because it seemed like he didn't want me to leave. Anyway, I would go out with him again, but I think he may be a bit embarrassed to contact me. So I'm not sure if I should reach out to him or just let it go. Only thing that stops me is the fact that I went to his neighborhood for the date. So I had to take a 20-minute ride home and he didn't even text to see if I got home okay. I think it's just a courteous thing to do, regardless if you're interested in a person or not. And of course, there's a chance that he's just not interested in seeing me again. Okay, I know people do that, text me when you get there thing. Actually, there was a TV show about it. But I'm wondering, like, okay, so the person left you and then they don't text you, so they didn't get home okay. Well, what you gonna do about it? What power do you have in a situation like that? I mean, people text you, I guess it'll give you peace of mind, but if they don't text you, then what? You have a plan? Did y'all talk about what would happen if you don't hear from them? That would be the only way it would work. If I don't hear from you by such and such a time, I'm calling the police. I'm going to report you missing. Something like that. But if you don't go that far and you just throw out that little platitude, oh, text me when you get home, that's bullshit. That doesn't mean shit. You're not going to do nothing about it, then the person has no need to text you when they get home. Just go on with your life. In this case, I wouldn't go out with him again because he got drunk. So either that means he was taking some kind of drugs before he had a drink and it reacted, poorly, or he had already been drinking. So that last drink just was the straw that broke the camel's back. Either way, I don't want to go out with somebody who can't handle their liquor. And, a date with him after he had just one drink or so, it becomes a disaster. I'm not interested in that. So I'm not sure why you are putting all this emotion into somebody who got drunk and was embarrassing. Is there no other men to date? And where are you from? Seattle, Washington? Just drunks? Yeah. Well, she had to take. Well, she might have meant bus stop. I don't know what she meant, but whatever. That was on her. See, that's why I have a car because it's like my first car. I had they have a custom license plate. That's when they used to only have 6 letters in California. They had 7 now. I think they're up on 8 or 9 or something. But it was only 6 at that time. That shows you how old I am. And you know what my license plate said? My feet. My feet. It was my custom license plate. I was 17. My first car I bought for myself, and the license plate said my feet. And so that just goes to show I wasn't trying to go on nobody's bus. Once I got a car, I wasn't trying to walk nowhere. I wasn't riding my bicycle. I have one. I still have this right there that I had when I was 16. It's right there. Nice twin. I just was not trying to do all that. So when I go on dates now, if I meet the dude there, I drive my car. When I get ready to leave, I get in my car and I deuce out. You ain't picking me up. I don't want you to know where I live, and I'm not getting in your car. I made that mistake one time when I was at my brother's in D.C. and went out on a date with this dude from Baltimore. Oh my God, what a dust bucket. Ooh, he was a dust mite. Owned his own business too, but he was just dusty. Dusty, 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 dusty. So yeah, that's since then I don't get in nobody's car. If I can't drive my car, I ain't going. Question number 5. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group, Chattanooga, Tennessee. She says, summary of issue. This is a what would Deb do question, a WWDD question. Okay, here we go. I'm looking at what y'all typing here. Baltimore's home to nothing but, well, see, this was so many years ago. This had to be 20 years ago. And yeah, I didn't really know that much about Baltimore. It probably was longer than that. But yeah, I didn't really know that much about Baltimore at the time. And so, I mean, he said he lived in Baltimore. I met him in D.C. At what is it, that station where B. Smith's restaurant bar used to be? That's where I met him there. And they had the jazz show and stuff. And, he was there and I was there. So we started talking. So he said he wanted to take me out. I'm like, okay. And so, I'm in DC, so I don't have my car, right? My brother wasn't about to give me his. So the guy drove, I found out later, all the way from Baltimore to DC to pick me up. Then took me back to Baltimore today for the date, which was stupid. And then when I got ready to go ahead, drive me all the way back to DC and go all the way back to Baltimore. So that's like, what, 200 something miles he traveled that night. I was like, whatever, I wouldn't have done it. No, yeah, Union Station. Thank you, Glass. Yeah, it was at Union Station. It was a B. Smith's restaurant used to be. And that's where I was with some other girls that I used to know that I had met through my Ask Heartbeat website. And so we got together. It was like a website, I'm meet and greet kind of thing, but it was very informal. So it was about 7 or 8 of them and me. And it was my first time meeting them offline. So we hung out at B. Smith's and had dinner and listened to the jazz show and stuff. And that's where I met them. Yes, Union Station. Thank you. Yeah, good times. I used to love going out there. My brother's like, "Will you just stay home?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to because you're boring." But anyway, let's move on. Enough of my memories. So this is a what would Deb do question. So she says, I'm coming to you for advice as I have never dealt with such a thing before. I met a guy online. Well, there you go. That's your mistake right there. We hit it off. We met and it was awkward for the first few minutes, but then things got great. The conversation was flowing and time went by so fast that we had to be told the restaurant was closing. So we had to leave. Every time we meet, time flies by so quick and it's always fun. We share a lot of traits and have so much in common. However, there's one big thing we don't have in common. I'm a very organized person and always on time. He is always chronically late. This dude cannot get anywhere early to save his life. Once I got so angry about the fact that he keeps me waiting and cannot be bothered to let me know he's running late until you ask where he is after waiting for some time. The next time he showed up about 15 minutes late and was pretty pleased with himself that it was just 15 minutes. I have two friends who are always late. In fact, one of them shows up to things in places up to 3 hours late. They and other friends are like, he fits everything I have always wanted, and we do really work well together. However, this tardiness annoys me. The guy and I have talked about it. He actually said he always aims to do more than possible, and time just slips by. He also said it'd be perfect if he didn't go early everywhere. I have read that there are personality traits like this. Dad, we are both in our 40s. This is the first guy I have clicked with in over 10 years, and I have gone on millions of dates. Okay, Dad, what would you do in my situation? Continue to date him or let it go? That's difficult because by the time you get in your 40s, things change. I see people saying it's a deal breaker stuff, and it is a deal breaker when you're in your 20s, possibly even your 30s. But after that, you know what? You stop nitpicking about so much stuff. The thing is, so he's gonna be great. Stop showing up on time, right? If you're supposed to meet him at say 5 o'clock, leave your house at 5 o'clock. And you know what? Then he'll be the one waiting, and then he'll get to see what it feels like. See, that's how I am. I'm petty like that. I'm gonna show you better than I could tell you. So the one who'll be waiting will be him. And here I come brushing up, hair all blowing in the wind. It's like, oh my God, fake breathless. Oh, I tried so hard to get here on time. It was just so hard. And let him see it, let him experience what it feels like to wait for somebody. Because he's never done it, because he's always the one people are waiting for. That's how I would do his ass. Because I'm petty. I'm petty. Yep, that's exactly what I would do. And he would be called saying, oh, where are you? I'm like, oh, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. You know how black folks do. We always on our way, and we still sit in front of the house on this. We sitting in our house with our feet up on the couch. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm on there. I'm right around the corner. You know how we do, okay? I'm not even gonna lie. You know that's how we do. Yeah, I'm a few blocks away. We still in our city, like 40 miles away. Ain't left yet, but I'm a few blocks away. You know that's how we do. I see you all over there laughing. You know that's how we do. That's just part of the black culture. We be lying our asses off about where we are, and just taking our sweet time. But that's how I would do him. I tell you. He's like, yeah, meet me at 7. Deb would leave her house at 7 or 7:10. I would not be bothered about being on time about anything. So see, this is pressure that you're putting on yourself because your value system is to be on time. But in a situation, unless you're getting paid, there's no reason for you to be on time. And that's his attitude. So adopt it too. Right? Turnabout's fair play. What's good for the goose, as my grandmother used to say, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. What the hell is a gander? I have no idea. Never saw it in any kind of zoology book, but that's what she used to say. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So, if it's okay that he be late all the time, then what's wrong with you doing it? So think about that. That might be something concept that you've never even considered because you're so upright and such a concerned moralistic citizen. But when you dealing with nignogs, even I don't care if they white, black, green, or purple. It don't matter. You got a nignog attitude, and so you just do what you do, and you just play right along with them, and let him see what it feels like a time or two or five. He might not be bothered by it, but chances are he's going to be shocked and appalled because it's going to be a new experience for him. Standing around waiting for someone. He's never experienced it because the people are always waiting for him. So I say, give him a little bit of a taste of his own medicine and just be all like, oh my God, my hair. I was having a bad hair day and I just kept trying to fix it because I wanted to look cute for you. So you don't have to, make it sound like it's something about him. Girl, please, I would play that motherfucker like a violin and let him see what that feels like. I'm telling you, that's what you need to death. Yeah, that 15 minutes, please. I'm the kind like you show up 15 minutes late with me, I'm gonna be gone, or I'm gonna be most likely I'll leave because I'm like a restaurant. You got 10, 15 minutes max, and then your reservation is canceled, and we be like whoever's waiting in line, oh, table for two, and then they seat them, and that's just it. That's the way I am. But in this case, I'd have to toy with him first, like a cat. Cats toy with their prey. I'd have to paw him a little bit with my claws and poke him a little bit just because I could. Question number 6, female 18 to 21 from Norwalk, Connecticut. Hey, Deb and Squad, I need some advice on my first relationship as I've never been in one. I'm currently a senior in high school and graduating in a couple of months. I'm 18. And the guy that asked me out a few weeks ago is turning 30 in a month. We've known each other from the synagogue, Reformed Judaism, and he's known me since I was 15. When I first met him, I viewed him like a cool older brother as he helped assist me in mentoring the Sunday school classes. Over time, tension began to build up between us since we spent so much time together on the weekends and we got to know each other more. At first, I was extremely hesitant because although I'm considered attractive, I thought to myself, why the hell would someone his age go for a high schooler? However, I was reading some manosphere forums, and to all of the guys who are in their 30s, 40s, and even beyond, a hot 18-year-old is their ultimate prize. I didn't know so many men thought this way, as most older guys treat me like a kid after learning my age. Yeah, Deb, I'm 18, but I'm still in high school. After I read all that, I thought to myself, all the signs that he gave me, perhaps he really was interested in me, and he was. It culminated in a kiss a couple of weeks ago, and now we are officially dating. I guess my question is this appropriate? This age gap will probably not be a problem in the future when we are like 30 and 42, but everyone in my life advises me that he's too old for me. We have the same values, integrity, kindness, and practice the same religion, which is really important to me. Yes, I am of age and I want to pursue this relationship, but I don't know what to do if everyone in my life is against it. What would you do if I were your daughter? Oh, I would put my foot down and then I would put it up his ass and walk around wearing him like a shoe. That's what I would do. You ain't fucking with my 18-year-old daughter. 18, teen, kid. 18 is a child still. Yes, I know under the law you an adult and all this old stuff here. But mentally, psychologically, independently, you're still a kid because your parents are still taking care of you. You're still in high school. You're a high schooler. You ain't hardly out in the world yet, like a 30-year-old man is. I know you are flattered and you think this is, some big deal or whatever. I don't know what you're thinking, to tell you the truth, but this is some bullshit. This is a grown man who's be dating women 25, 28, 30 years old like he is. He should not be trolling high schools looking for dates. You need to cut this out right now. Anything that you can find with him, you can find with somebody closer to your age that's a kid like you. This is a grown ass man. There's nothing that could be positive about a 30-year-old man with an 18-year-old kid. If I was your mother, I'd be kicking your little ass and his too. Mainly his for trying it. And then I go and I find what's the Jewish version of the fruit of Islam? They must have it to get them big old buff brothers with the bow ties and commence to stomping him. Tell him all what he better not do and how he better not see you ever again in life. And he better change synagogues. He better do a whole bunch of other stuff to stay away from you. Because, I'm crazy like that. But if you were my daughter, this would not be happening. This would not be happening. This would not be happening. In case there's any doubt in your mind, this is a fucked up situation. And I don't care what your little 18-year-old mind imagines the perfection to be. You're a child and you need to stay a child as long as possible. You go into adulthood gradually. Okay, gradually you assume more responsibility and independence. Right now you at that that position where you know about to step out into adulthood, but he's already been there for 10 years or longer. He can run circles around you. You can are no match for this man. Okay. Now, if you were like 30, like you said, 30, and he was 42, I mean, I still wouldn't like it that much, but at least it would be something I know I would feel okay about you doing because you're a grown woman then. Right now, you're still a kid, and this is so inappropriate. So inappropriate. And he been watching you since you were 15. Don't you feel kind of icked out about that? He waited until you was legal so he could bust the move. He been eyeing you for 3 years, waiting for you to be so he wouldn't get in trouble with the law. That's what he's did. Don't be a fool, young girl. Cut this fool loose. Tell him that you decided he's too old for you and don't talk to him ever again. These old ratchet men just kill me. And they go after the young because they know the young girls don't have no sense. Oh my God, this is just terrible. Question number 7. This is a female, 28 to 34 age group from Troy, Michigan. Summary of issue: he won't move in with me. I'm looking for some feedback. My significant other and I have been together for over a year and a half. We're 40 and divorced with no children. We live in the same town, a few blocks apart, but I own my house and he rents a one bedroom, one bath apartment for which he pays rent that's double the average cost and double my mortgage cost. We get along really great, have a lot of common, and we never fight. However, I have been unhappy with the situation living separately and staying over at each other's house twice a week. I've invited him to move in with me when his lease ends, but he has repeatedly refused. Sadly, this left me thinking that there is no future in the relationship and that it will never go anywhere. I would like to eventually get remarried or have children and realize that my time to do so is extremely limited, and in general, I would just like to have someone to share a home with, but I can't see how any of this could ever be possible when we live separately. I should mention that we live in a place where the costs for housing have skyrocketed. There are very few houses on the market, and the competition is very tight, and the cost is greatly inflated. However, I have a mortgage with a 2.6% interest rate and a low monthly payment, which, if we split, would be a quarter of what he currently pays for rent. He has provided a long list of what he doesn't like about my house, including the kitchen countertop, floors, and the larger scale renovations that he thinks are necessary, and claims that he thinks we should get a different house altogether. I would never consider renting when I already own my own house. And as mentioned, the inflated housing costs and high interest rate, I'll be potentially be paying 3 to 4 times more per month if I bought a house now. Okay, blah blah blah. Her house is 3 bedrooms with a large lot on a desirable street. Although it needs some work, he blames everything on me for not being willing to move and seems completely ignorant about what is involved in owning a home. I think it is unreasonable to expect a house to be completely perfect and never require any work. I've offered that we could pick out new furniture together so that it feels like his home and that we could look into renovations, which I think is a reasonable compromise. But he seems totally unwilling to consider the option. I personally think that when one person owns and the other rents, it makes sense for the person who rents to move into the house with the other one, especially given the current housing market. Perhaps he just wants to live alone forever in his rented one bedroom apartment, or maybe this all has something to do with his past marriage and divorce, which was a complete train wreck. Things could probably continue forever if I was fine with living separately, but I'm not. And therefore, I don't know how to continue. Do you have any thoughts? Yeah. First of all, you stupid. You don't move somebody into your house and be having to pay half your mortgage. That would be the most boneheadedest move you could ever make. And I'm surprised that somebody smart enough to buy their own house would be so stupid. If someone moves into your house like that, you give that motherfucker a rental agreement and how much he gonna pay, and as a tenant, not as thinking he paying half the mortgage. So his ass gonna be a co-owner of your property. So if y'all split up, he gonna put in deals for you to sell the house and him to get a cut. See, you stupid. You don't even know what you're doing here. You're so desperate to have some dick under your roof that you're about to lose your whole investment here about some over some stupid fool man. He wants you to go spend the money to fix up your house to his specifications. This whole letter sounds like you just dumb and desperate. I hate to tell you, but that's how you coming across. If you want to live with a man, which I don't understand that at all, but if you must do that stupid thing, then you go and find you somebody who's willing to do it. Preferably somebody who has his own home. So then y'all can decide which home you want to live in, and then you rent yours out or he rents his out, whatever you do. But you don't ever move somebody into your house and then make the arrangement be that they're paying half your mortgage. Unless you plan to put their name on the house, which would be like the ultimate bonehead move. He ain't paid no down payment in all the years that you've been paying on the house. If he put his name on it, he was. If you sell it tomorrow, he'd get half your equity. See, that's how stupid women do things. They don't be thinking. They be thinking with their heart instead of their brain. So all in all, this man does not want to move into you. Stop trying to move in with you. Stop trying to force him, because it sounds like it would be a stupid thing for you to do under circumstances. And go and find you somebody else. Okay, find you someone else who wants what you want. But I don't understand all this moving in shit that people want to do. Stay in your house and let him stay in his goddamn apartment. That's what he want to do. Question number 8, female, 22 to 27, Boise, Idaho. Sort of issue. If someone you were hooking up with said this to you, would you block him? Oh, this sounds interesting. If you ask the man or the woman that you have been hooking up with for months, if you could come over and they said this, hey, I've been really busy and I have a lot on my plate right now, but I'll let you know when it's good to come over. Would you block them? She went on and on and on to say a whole bunch of more, but um, oh, then she says, I know we aren't in a relationship, but he's not obligated to see me. But I just don't like the indirectness. Like, if he doesn't want to see me anymore, why doesn't he just say that? There's another guy I've been talking to who's been asking to meet up with me for a while now, but he wants to be in a relationship, and I don't want to be in one. Okay, so are these the only two men in Boise, Idaho? One who wants a relationship and one who just wants to sleep around? That's it. Those are only two options. First of all, you've been hooking up with, so that means you have no ties, no obligations. He ain't got none with you, no commitments, no nothing, no dibs on each other, no rights to nothing. You can't make demands about nothing. You can't have no expectations about anything. It's just a waste of time. That's why I don't think that these FWB things are good for silly young girls like you. Older women who can handle it, yes, but if you're gonna be getting your feelings involved to the point where you be getting your feelings hurt and he don't want to see you, instead of understanding that's the kind of relationship that y'all have, see, then that means this is not for you. So he don't want you to come over, and you know why? Because he's busy with someone else. He's got another woman that he's boning, in case that's not clear to you. And he can do that. You know why? Because y'all ain't in a relationship. He ain't your man. You have no commitment, no obligations, no ties, no dibs, no nothing. So he can do that. And you can't say nothing about it because you knew what it was when you was getting into the situation. He said, now you're trying to act all brand new and act like if you'd be blocking somebody and stuff. If you want to block them, then do that. I mean, you ain't obligated to continue dealing with them if you don't want to. But don't do it because you're feeling jealous and like you rejected and stuff when you didn't have a relationship to be feeling jealous and rejected about. You feel me? You're doing too much. Question number 9. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group. She's African American from Maryland. It just says Maryland, no town. Honey, ENFP child, these little girls be killing me. They be getting into these situations. I guess they have a secret agenda. That's the only thing I can surmise. They have a secret agenda, and they be thinking that these guys are going to, that they're going to whoop it on them. So I don't know what they be thinking, but they seem to have all these hidden expectations and then get their feelings hurt when the secret expectations don't, materialize the way that they fantasize that they would. It's kind of interesting. Okay, let's move on. Now we got 25 questions for those who are interested in keeping up. We're on question number 9 because I keep talking a lot. We're never going to finish. Female in the 22 to 27 age group from Maryland. Some have issue. Should I stay in this relationship? Are these red flags? I've been with my boyfriend. He's 24 for a year now. He got a new job 8 hours away last year and had to move. I decided to get a new job in the same city to move as well to avoid us being long distance. We live separately. This happened within 6 months of us dating. Okay, so you packed up and you moved across wherever, the country, the state, whatever, to be with a man that you'd only been dating for 6 months, less than 6 months. Okay. So then I had a huge health scare and ended up being in the hospital for a week, which caused me to lose my job. Although I had enough money saved to maintain myself at that point, he said that my hospitalization was overwhelming and that I should move back home to live with my parents. He said he couldn't support me in that way. He even said that he would move back home too because of how overwhelmed he was. Mind you, I was fine once I was discharged. They just put me on some meds. Fast forward, I ended up staying because I didn't want to give up so easily. He ended up staying as well for no apparent reason. More recently, my savings have been running low, and I still haven't found a job that will allow me to finish school and pay my bills. I had to choose between one or the other. I asked my boyfriend for his opinion. He immediately said, without me asking, that I could not live with him and that I should move home to focus on finishing school. If I were him in this predicament, I would have wanted him to live with me or take some of the stress away. He also makes six figures, but has not offered to help me out with any expenses, gas, lunch, not even a burger. By no means do I feel entitled, but it just hurts because I would have done so much for him if things were reversed. I guess I just feel like I'm more committed and in love than he is. He spent our 1 year anniversary on a family vacation and didn't bother to do anything special for me. He just gave me a phone call. Am I waiting? Am I wrong waiting for more? Yes. Let me tell you where you made your first wrong move. When you packed even a single box to chase behind this motherfucker right here. That's what you did. Do you realize that? He was moving because he was getting another job. You'd only been dating him a few months. That's when you're supposed to say, well, it's been nice knowing you. Bye. But no, here you go, being desperate Betty, and go pack up your stuff and chase him around wherever, states, country, whatever he did, he moved away and you tailing right along behind him. With no signs of, I mean, it's not like he was engaged to you. You know, you wasn't pregnant with his kid. Y'all wasn't married. There's no reason for you as a single woman to chase behind some dick. It's freely available, just practically blowing up and down the street like a tumbleweed. It's not like, there's any shortage of it. They be trying to pay, just wishing somebody would come and look at that thing. Okay, so this, you didn't have to go across country for that. So then, you get there, you get sick, and he throws up his hands and is like, I can't do nothing for you. Move back home. Again, that was another red flag. And did you do anything about it? Nope, you stayed because I didn't want to give up on us. He'd already given up. What part of that do you not see? He didn't want to put any effort to try to take care of you. You unemployed, you about to be broke, and then you were sick. So for him, that was a trifecta of get out. But yet you stayed. And now you're trying to figure out what to do. And if it's wrong to want more, it was wrong to want more. Like I said, the second he left town, that's when you started fucking up. And it hasn't stopped yet. Pack your shit and get your little narrow ass in your car and go back home to your parents. Finish your school, and hopefully somewhere in there on this journey, you will get some sense. Because right now you don't have any. And you're just making one dumb decision after another. Luckily, you're young enough to recover from it. But, this is a whole bunch of shit you went through that you didn't have to go through had you stayed your ass where you were. Oh, my God. Let me have a swig. I have some wine and a coffee cup. I don't lie, y'all. Everybody's saying true, true. I do not tell lies on this show. I tell these little girls just how it is. It doesn't make sense to do stuff the way that they do it. I mean, there's no benefit to them to do these things. Question number 10. This is a young lady in the 30, well, not young, 38 to 42 age group. She's African American from Jackson, Mississippi. Summary of issue. My boyfriend wants a baby, and I don't. He accepts not having a baby without any resentment, but I feel guilty. We are both in our early 40s. I already have a 7-year-old from a different relationship. My boyfriend would make an amazing father. He's very caring and kind, and he loves children. He's a very good uncle to his nieces and nephews and is part of their lives. My daughter loves him, and he has always wanted children of his own. We've been together for about a year, and we're incredibly happy. We really have never had an argument, not because we always agree, but because we are both very kind and respectful towards each other. I told him very early on that I'm not having any more kids. He accepts this. He's extremely respectful of boundaries and has never once applied any pressure about having children. But a few days ago, he offhandedly said something about how, of course, he would be delighted if we would have a baby. This triggered a conversation led by me. He was reluctant about how he thinks about this a lot and it would make him very happy. The problem, my boyfriend says he's at peace with not having a baby. he wants to be with me, but I am wrecked with guilt. I almost think that I should reconsider my position. So I know what you should do is get him a new boyfriend. Bottom line, he wants a kid and you don't. Now, you say you don't want any more kids. You have a reason for saying that. What is it? Do you have like a traumatic birth experience like Serena Williams? Like she almost died a couple of times. So you ain't trying to take, that chance to something might happen this time. You might not be so lucky. Or, I mean, why do you not want any more? Whatever that reason is that made you make that statement, you need to focus on that. Because there's no guarantee that he would be there helping you raise that kid. Y'all ain't married, even husbands and wives break up. So you would just be a baby mama with some raggedy man's baby who's talking about that would make him happy. Fuck him. If he want to be so happy, then why isn't he pulling out a ring and proposing and getting married? Doing shit the right way. Nope, he just want to be a baby mama. You to be a baby mama, him to be a baby daddy. That's like some ghetto hood trash shit. And you too old for that. You in your early 40s. I mean, might not get pregnant anyway, but let's just say you could. Thank you, this girl Betty. Let's just say you could. I mean, do you want to be, in your 50s going through all the menopause and all that old stuff with a kid in high school? That wouldn't be my life. That would not be my choice. What to be doing in my about to be a senior year? Oh no. Mm-mm. Can you see me with a high school kid? I'd probably kill that child. I'd be at that school acting a complete and total original fool if anything happened to my kid. I mean, because now I'm like really grumpy, and I was already bad enough when my daughter was little and I was young then. Now I'm old. Can you imagine? That would be terrible. People would lose lives and stuff. There would be bloodshed at the school. Because now I just don't give a fuck. I'd be up there cussing, acting a fool, beating up kids, beating up their parents, just acting up. I already know this. So I don't have, there's no reason to have kids and grandkids around me. That would be a fatal mistake. Some people just aren't meant to be. No, that would be a bad idea. Question number 11, male, 28 to 34. He's European, white, from London, England. Summary of issue, I'm seeking some womanly advice. I'm a man and have been with my partner for 8 years. These haven't been too great for the past couple of years, but I thought we were getting better. I've recently found a photo that proves that she's had another man in the house while I've been away working. And another photo proving that same man was in the house last summer whilst I was away. Obviously, I'm not happy about this, but she stayed calm and just said it was a friend and she knows how it looks, but it's all innocent. I don't actually know what to believe. I think it's wrong to have another man in the house and not tell me and hide it. But she's not got, what is this? Bonnier. I think I don't know what he's trying to say. Defensive either, which I thought she would have if I had caught her out. Am I jumping to conclusions? Or is there more to it? My gut says there's more to it, but I do want to believe her. Thanks for any insight you can provide. Okay, so what, you have a picture of the guy that's proved that he was in the house. Was they like naked or something? Did the neighbors say they heard, screaming and moaning? I mean, what is you getting tripping for? So she had somebody in the house. It's her house too. Or did you forget that part? She can have friends of whatever gender, race, sex, or whatever she wants to in her house. And you're going to be flipping out about everything, then maybe you shouldn't be together. You know what I mean? You have to be, if you're in a relationship where you don't trust the person, then why are you there? I always have to ask people that who start, asking these kind of questions. There's something that you are making you, untrustworthy. You're getting an untrustworthy vibe. If you really feel like she's untrustworthy, why are you still with her? That's my point. I'm not saying what she did or not. I mean, I've had, people over. I have a lot of male friends when I was dating my husband and before and after. And they would be in my house. I'm sure he didn't like it, but you know what? He had enough sense to shut up and not say nothing. When I first met him, I even had a male roommate. It was great. He could do the heavy lifting. He lived downstairs. I mean, his room was downstairs, and we had the middle floor was the kitchen, dining room, and living room, and then my bedroom and my bathroom was upstairs. So it was perfect. His bedroom and his bathroom was downstairs. It worked great. So that's how we was living when I met him. I said, I could see on his face he didn't like it, but I gave him that look like, and he was like, oh. Yeah, well, like I said, if you don't really think that he's a friend, but you don't have any proof, see, I'm the kind like, I don't know, I just don't really be tripping like that. I don't get jealous over stuff like that. It's going to be something where I have to feel disrespected. Then I will act a fool. But you just visiting with your friends and friends just happen to be female, I'll sit down across my legs and I'm a visit too. Because he had a female friend. This girl, I mean, she proved herself to be trash, but you know, she had been his friend for years. And so when I met him, it was fine. So we went out to New Year's, together, New Year's Eve, because he had promised her he was going to take her out. So, of course, then he met me. So then I went too. And I mean, I was cool with her. I used to talk to her on the phone. We go shopping together and stuff. And it was, it was fine. But after we got married and had our daughter, she was probably about, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 months old. And she came over to our house and she had like, it was summertime. And she had this like little sundress thing on. And so he was sitting on the couch and she was sitting across the room in this chair that we had. And she put her legs up. You know how dudes sit so their ankle is on the other knee? Not like how women sit with their legs crossed. She put her ankle on her knee so her leg was making like that number four shape. And then she didn't have on no underpants. So she was flashing them. And I was in the kitchen. I'm always in the kitchen, putting together a snack tray or something, getting beers and whatever when the drama goes down. But all of a sudden he was cussing and calling her a bee and threw her out the house. And then he told me what had happened to it. And I was just shocked because she never gave off airs like that. But I guess she decided to go for it. And then that was the end of that friendship. And he didn't have nothing else to do with her. That was it. It was over. But see, I didn't have to do nothing. And I never did get jealous. I was like fine with it. He was fine with it, so I was fine with it. And I seen how he would treat people who, was trying to do too much. So I had no doubt in my mind that if he said she was just a friend, if that's all it was, because I trusted him. I seen him in action with people who violated his boundaries, and it was nothing nice to see. I never want him to talk to me like that. So, I didn't have any reason to be jealous or feel possessive or anything like that. He gave me no reason to. In that moment, he still didn't give me a reason to because the person who tried to test him, he got rid of her. I never had to say a word. So, yeah, no. Yep, no pennies, as they say. And was trying to flash. Well, she's not trying, she did flash him. And he told me enough stuff about it. And I was like, well, was you excited? He said, oh, back with that. So I was like, okay. Say, well, if I go and sit on get in sundress and sit like that, what you gonna do? I just fucking with him at that point. But that's the kind of relationship that we had. I didn't get jealous. It really was no reason to get jealous. Yeah, I know he didn't expect that question to come, but that's how I handled it. I was like, oh, let me get in on this action. That looked like that might could be interesting. But yeah, that was funny. Okay, question number 12. This is a young lady in the 28 to 34 age group. She's Latina from San Antonio, Texas. And the male in question is 28 to 34. He's black. Oh. Me and my boyfriend have been together for some months. I've known him a few years and we made it official. Things are going good, but his child's mother is causing problems. I already know that his son is his priority. I would never compete with that or try to interfere with anything. She is just young and immature. I could tell by the way she talks to him on the phone when I'm around. She somewhat bullies him and uses the kid against him at times. I remember a time that she called and he answered when I was right there. And he was talking to his son, and here she come, talking smart ish to him. She said, took baby, your dada be over a work. Oh, look, baby, your dada be over a work, kissing those nasty heifer. And then she goes, look, baby, say yuck to dada, something like that. Like, what is the reason why you are trying to provoke a problem? I'm just laying there next to him, just disgusted. Another time he was out shopping for his son with his birthday, and she called with a whole attitude. She fussed and said, I bet you out there with some B. Huh? I wasn't even around him. He's gone. That one told me that about the conversation that day. I notice when I'm around him, it's always something that comes up, and our time ends up being cut short. It's either she wasn't watching the kid and he ate something wrong, or the kid gets sick, or she just finds something to argue about. It's irking me. When they argue, his mood changes and it impacts our phone conversations. He doesn't even want to talk. I'm understanding I allow him to vent when he needs to. When he doesn't want to talk, it's because he's irritated. I understand that too. I put my issues I'm going through mentally to cater to him from the issues with the baby mama. Okay, blah, 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 blah. I'm a chill and peaceful type of woman. I'm in my 30s and I don't like problems or chaos. He's a great guy, but his baby mama is driving me absolutely nuts. I can't just have a peaceful weekend with him without her calling and talking mess. I had a Valentine's Day getaway set up, but I know if she FaceTimes him and she sees he's not on his at his home in bed, she will start fussing. Please help. Sorry for the long ride. This is nothing that I can help you with. This is all on him. Because the thing about it is, when she calls, he answers. Have you noticed that? He answers. All he has to do is not answer the phone. Short of the kid being hospitalized, which he really couldn't do anything about anyway, why does he need to talk to her when he's with you? But the fact is, he answers the phone. That means he wants to talk to her. That's the part that you haven't really grasped yet. You think that she's bothering him. The fact is, he wants to be bothered. That's why he keeps answering the phone. Otherwise, he would turn his phone off when he's with you. Or when he would look at the caller ID, because they all have it, and see that it's her, he would swipe and, not not talk to her. But he answers. So that should tell you everything that you need to know. All of this drama and bullshit is because he wants to be involved in drama and bullshit. He likes drama and bullshit, and that's why he keeps involving himself in it. So what you should do is think about how much you say you're a calm and peaceful type and you don't like chaos. Well, this is what you're going to get as long as you stay involved with this guy, because he likes chaos and drama with that baby mama. It excites him. There's still a lot of hot emotions there, and they may not be willing to admit it, but otherwise, he would be like dudes I've seen who are really truly down with their baby mama. They'd be like, they go to court, they get visitation rights, they get court orders about drop off and pick up, and when and what time she's going to call. Like if he has a kid, that's the only time that she can call to talk to the kid, and she gets 10 minutes, between, I don't know, 6 and 7 p.m., something like that. So, everything's spelled out. So there's no interference in their life like this. But he hasn't done that, which means the door is wide open for her to continue to mess up his life. And it's because he wants her to. So once you accept that, you can deuce out on this with a good conscience and understand that he's not trying to be with you, not like that. You're just a booty. Question number 13. This is a young lady in the 22 to 27 age group from Chino Hills, California. We briefly went out for about 3 months last year. Both of us had come out from a long-term relationship. The connection was instant, but we were both too hurt and lost to make it last. I got a bit obsessed, and he distanced himself from getting too serious, so we ended things. But after we decided to end things, I asked for my stuff back. There's really just 2 books. He agreed to meet me and give me the stuff, however, he bailed on me. So I decided it's not worth it and moved on. Fast forward 4 months. Just when I've almost forgotten about this guy, he reached out via text asking to return the books. I asked him to mail it back to me, even though we were in the same city. I didn't feel like meeting him. We did a little chit chat over text, nothing flirtatious, but it felt familiar. As a result, I was so confused after that. He voluntarily told me that he went on a few dates, but nothing serious, when I merely asked how's work. He asked me about my dating life. He still sounded hurt from his last breakup. I asked very blatantly if he just wanted to return my stuff and close the loop for good. He replied, I think so, but he still hasn't returned them after 3 weeks. Here I am confused and overthinking. Obviously, there was still a tiny amount of hope, but I just wanted to process it all and move on. Also, he stopped being responsive since last time I shared an article about online dating with him. So basically, he ghosted me after offering to return my stuff, but never really followed up. Is he just messing with me? No, you messing with yourself, and just as stupid. Okay, first of all, it's 2 goddamn books. Okay, go buy them again if you want them so bad. But most likely, since they was over his house, you already read them anyway, so what the fuck? Secondly, if you were serious about moving on, you would have blocked him, but you didn't. You know why? Because you wanted him to call you. Like you admit there was still a tiny bit of hope. So you were hoping that he would come drag ass and himself back into your life. So you left the door open for him to do that. Then when he starts asking you, you ask him about work and he tells you about who he's dating instead of you saying, who gives a fuck? Let that bitch be stupid so she can find out how what a raggedy motherfucker you are like I did. But no, you didn't say that. You probably was all hurt and confused. Like you said, you was confused. And he did that to you to confuse you, to test you, and to see how dumb you were and how much you still cared about him. And you fell right into the trap. Y'all don't have no game at all. None. That was a moment when he called you talking about them books. Say, "Oh, I bought them books already. You can throw them away. I don't need them. I'll talk to you later. Bye," and then hang up. But no, because you don't know how to handle men, and so you just bit and stayed talking to him and chit chatting and sending him articles and all kind of other dumb shit. Have you no pride at all? None. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Hey, Shay. Oh, I just don't even understand. What is it that these girls be thinking? You know what I mean? Like you thinking that somebody don't want you, and they break up with you, and then they gonna call you months later talking about, oh, come let me come and give you your books, and then they tell you some shit like that, and you get all in your feelings about it. I would still be cussing him out for even having the audacity to call me for one thing, and for having the gall to think I give a fuck whose life he makes miserable. And I would sure tell him that too. I'm blessed that I got away from your trifling two-bit piece of shit ass. And now here you are on my phone whining about some bitch. I don't give a fuck about who you date. Get off my phone. Don't ever call me again. Lose my number. Thanks, Giggles. I don't understand it. Is he just messing with me? He's only messing with you because you let him and you want him to. Question number 14, female 18 to 21. She's Caucasian from Medford, Oregon. I don't even know what that is. So I have been with this guy for a couple of months and things are okay. We don't hang out much because of his schedule with his kid. What is this tonight? Men with kids day? But when we do, things are good. He brought me flowers just a few days ago, but in New Year's, after I stayed the night with him, he left to go to the restroom and my phone was next to his. I heard a notification sound and I looked to see if it was mine and it ended up being his. It was an unsaved number that was texting him. I'm not going to lie, I kind of panicked. I can admit that in my past, I've dealt with men texting other women secretly while I'm sitting in their face. I paid these situations no mind, but I stayed observant. Being chill about those situations in my past allowed more huge sign to show where I didn't have to second guess if I was making stuff up in my head or not. But back to him. I seen the number and my anxiety went through the roof. I even remembered the number. I tried my best to continue the day with him, but my attitude was so off and unsettled. I wish I could bring it up to him, but I already know he's just going to lie to me about it. Fast forward to yesterday. I ended up trying to get rid of this feeling, so I called the number. Girl, you got a good memory. I can barely remember my own number. Turns out it was a texting app number because of the voicemail it had. Now I'm really freaking out. I honestly feel this is a female. I really do. I'm beating myself up about it. I don't normally snoop. The situation in my past wasn't snooping. It was literally the same thing. I was taking his phone off the charger so I could use it, and I saw a whole lot. I chilled and didn't say anything, but months later, oh, more was revealed that I couldn't deny or misinterpret. Now, this situation with my current boyfriend seems like it's happening all over again. I really like him, and I honestly, mentally, and emotionally can't take another heartbreak. I had time to heal from the past, but I can't do this again. I'm an older woman, and he recently is gaining my trust from lying to me about women he sneaked and talked to on social media. I'm sorry my letter is long and my grammar and punctuation may be off. I'm really venting and I need some sound advice. Well, what advice would you need? You saw a text and it was from a texting app and you feel like it's some woman. What if it's from some man? These days you just never know. Are you gonna feel better about it if it's a man than if it's a woman? Does it matter what gender it is? We're gonna feel the same way about it? I would be like, huh. So where you went to the bathroom, a text came across your phone And I called the number. And it was a texting app. Who the fuck is texting you? If you really want to know, I mean, I wouldn't care. But, since you seem to be bothered by it, then obviously you want to know who it is. So you should have asked him. Why'd you not ask him? You just sit there and fret about it? You got to remember, you only been dating him for a couple of months. Unless you all have really sat down and had the conversation about commitment, then perhaps you're putting the cart in front of the horse. You're assuming that he's your boyfriend and y'all had the same kind of commitment level and all this kind of stuff. But if you haven't talked about it, you haven't come to that agreement, then that means that you're the wrong one because you're having unreasonable and inappropriate expectations. You just kicking it with the dude. You just, chilling, dating, whatever you call it. But y'all ain't in a committed relationship. You just spending time together. In which case, it's perfectly fine for him to get as many texts as he wants to from whoever he wants to get it from. Because he's not your man. Not yet. So you think about what I said, because there's not enough, the background information is a little sketchy. But since it's only been a couple of months and you didn't mention that, y'all had this conversation and y'all's committed and all this old stuff here, it makes me wonder. So, rethink the history of this relationship and, you may decide that you was the one that was wrong. Okay. Let's move on. Question number 15. This is a young lady in the 22 to 27 age group. She's Caucasian from Los Angeles, California. Summary of issue: I am getting frustrated with my boyfriend over some of the comments that he makes, and I don't know if my frustration is wrong. Me and myself and my boyfriend have been together long, 5 months-ish, but I was single for 3 years before, and I really love him. We pay attention to each other and everything, and we get excited about it. It's equally exciting to the other. We encourage each other, and I've never felt more safe and secure with someone. There's just not an ounce of hatred in his body. He is super soft and kind. My boyfriend identifies himself as queer. Oh, he wouldn't be my boyfriend, but whatever. He is bi and goes by he, they. Ugh. We both feel similar with our sexuality, where we are attracted to the person, not the gender, and both don't feel physical attraction unless we feel connected to the person. What frustrates me is how my boyfriend constantly talks about being hate crimes when it's never. Oh, he sounds stupid. When it's never happened. I'll suggest we go somewhere and he will say things like, nah, someone will be homophobic to me. The thing I don't understand is that unless he was having an actual conversation about it with someone, there's no way anyone would know that he was queer. He looks and sounds like a stereotypical straight white man. Then, especially when we're together as we are a straight couple. I get frustrated and think it's because, like, I live in a world with normalized sexism. I can't just pretend I'm not a woman and avoid sexism, so I carry on my life. It gets annoying when he's constantly complaining about homophobia when he's straight passing. I understand getting annoyed when someone says something homophobic, but most of it seems to be stemmed from a possibility, not reality. It's extremely draining, and I get a bit angry as I don't think he has a just reason to talk about it as much as he does. It puts a downer on situations for no reason. Like if I were to sit there and go through every account of sexism or sexual abuse that I had faced throughout my life, we would probably end up crying with no hope left. Yeah, that's the case with most women. I feel like a part of me is jealous that he's, like, I don't know, choosing to be a victim, whereas a lot of us that are discriminated against based on gender, sexuality, or race don't get the choice, and I find it frustrating that he is choosing to be. Am I unreasonable? How am I supposed to communicate to him about it when he feels like I'd be attacking a part of him if I were to bring it up? Oh, God, why are you so sensitive to his feelings? I don't really want to tell you the rude, nasty things that I would say to him, but I would blow his fucking hair back. There's nothing worse than a white man who appears straight to be sitting up there trying to play a fucking victim in a nation full of sexism and racism and generalized just hate for anybody whose skin is some color other than white. He's trying to play a victim and just so he can get some kind of victim points or some shit, like it's for social media clout or something. Girl, I don't know how you have not just cussed him up one side and down the other, stomped him and drop kicked him. There's nothing. I just the thought of him just irritates the fuck out of me. There's nothing about him that's anybody's victim. He's at the top of the pecking order. All he has to do is put on the Brooks Brothers suit and some nice shoes and hold his head high and not act like he's interested in some other dudes, and then he'll be all right. He can even act like he's interested in some other dudes, and he'll probably still be all right. Because they'll just think he's gay and big no big whoop de doo. Nobody cares. I really don't really know what else to tell you because you're choosing to deal with this bullshit. It's not something that I want to be bothered with. Because like I said, I would have cussed him out by now several times and then be done with him. So, you need to tell him though that a black woman on YouTube told him to suck it up, buttercup, and stop acting like he's being victimized. And if he really want to be a victim, to come bring his ass over here and let me tie him up and I will victimize the fuck out of him and send him home with cuts and bruises so he can see what it feels like. I will treat him like his ass is named Kunta Kinte. Okay? Then he could really go and complain, really have something to complain about. Shit. I mean, oh shit! I just dropped my collar. I mean, I'm serious right now. This is the last page. I dropped them and got the pages out of order. I'm just not down with it. Now they want to beat on Kunta Kinte. That would be me having some race flashbacks, bringing her home all the ancestors who was beaten, whipped, and chained. I'd take some of that abuse out on his ass since he want to be acting like he's such a fucking victim. Question number 16, female 35 to 41. She's a white European from Eastern Europe, which is big city. The male in question is 35 to 41 also. Some of issue, how to date when you aren't attractive in your geographical area, or how to let go of the craving for a partner. Girl, that is a lot for this little Mickey Mouse column, but let's see what you're talking about. Hi, Deb. I'm a female in my late 30s living in a big Eastern European city. I have been single for 7 years. I had some flings, but nothing serious. All the men I dated for longer in this time period have come out to be liars, cheaters, and they have other character flaws or just found something better after dating me a few times and it fizzled out. Why did I say I'm not attractive in my area? The thing is that looks-wise, I'm a 6 of 10 on my good days. And in my city, there are a ton of beautiful, stunning, successful single women in their 30s. Some of them are my friends and family members, so it's not that there's something wrong with them. They have wonderful personalities. They all complain about the dating market here. I can't even compete with all the beautiful women out there. Meanwhile, all the single men who are past 30 are left are just losers. They're ugly, they have major character flaws, or just want to have fun, etc. The good ones are taken, and it's not a false impression. I'm not desperate at all. I rejected many guys because of those reasons. Another issue is that I'm child free. I don't want to have any kids, so I can't date the majority of childless men because they want children. I can't also date those that have children because I can't be bothered with being a caretaker of any kid. Girl, tell me about it. I've tried it all. See, this is how I know my form is broken. She wrote a fucking book. I've tried to date ugly or losers with no ambition, but I just could not get myself to be attracted to them, so I rejected them. I've tried dating younger guys in their mid-20s, but they did not treat me as a serious relationship. I've tried dating women who are wonderful here, but just could not get myself to be attracted to them like that. Sadly, I am hetero. I have put myself out there. I've tried real life events, online apps, everything. I can say I had at least 100 first dates in this time. Very rarely was there a third date. Usually, if I liked somebody, they did not like me. When I traveled to Western Europe, I received much more attention from men there because there are many more successful, attractive single males than there are here. But I'm not sure if they are relationship oriented, if they would just treat me like a toy as well. I can't move because I have a good job I love here, and my skills are very country specific. I have many friends, hobbies, and I travel and enjoy my life, but I've not been able to get over the loneliness and craving for a partner. It was okay for the first 3 years, but then it started bothering me. I tried the friends with benefit thing with these guys I liked, but who don't want a relationship with me. The eggplant was great, but left me feeling really hurt that they did not like me in a romantic way. So it seems I cannot even have casual eggplant if I have to live an eggplantless life if I cannot find a relationship. At this point, I'm really tired and very envious of married people. I'm tired of going through life alone. Believe me, I don't have some fairy tale like vision of a relationship. Before that, I was in a relationship for 6 years and I was happy. We split up because I wanted different things. He wanted children and he's married now. Any advice? How should I date? Should I continue dating at all at this point? How can I just let go of the craving for a partner and learn to be totally fine alone? That is too much for this little column. It's light, and you add writing something super heavy that requires a lot of thought. I can answer one of your zillion questions. Let's see. How should I date? The best way to date is without, I'm going to tell you something that happens when a woman is really hungry for a relationship. It shows and it comes across um, in her energy. It comes across in how you look at people. They tend to have this like hunger in their eyes, this longing. And for men, that scares them away. That I would think is something that, I mean, not to say that you have really much control over it, but I'm trying to make you aware of it so that perhaps you can start trying to adjust your attitude about it. Because nobody's owed a relationship. Okay. Nobody's owed one. And if you find one and it works for you, then that's good. That's gravy. But, we start off life in this worth alone and we end up life alone. And the best thing to do is learn how to be happy with yourself alone. If you're happy with yourself, you tend to attract to you other happy people. They might be males, they might be females. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be a relationship. I'm saying you attract other happy people. And when you make friends with other happy people, they have friends. They have family members. They have uncles, nephews, cousins, you know, friends from college. I mean, neighbors. And they have people in their circle that they will be able to introduce you to. What you cannot do, though, is this attitude that you projected in this letter of, this woe is me. I'm so lonely. I just want a relationship. I'm telling you, that's some energy you cannot hide. And if that's people are feeling that about you, you're gonna run them off. They're gonna be afraid because they're gonna feel like if they even look like they like you, you're gonna glob onto them and suck the life out of them with all your demands and expectations. I'm not saying that's true. I'm saying that's gonna be their perception. Keep follow me here, okay? You can't, have this kind of mentality. You have to have it like, well, it's cool if I find somebody, but it's just as cool if I don't. And that opens the door for men to be able to, comfortably approach you and be around you. Now, you may still find, even after you do all that, that you still run into a bunch of dust buckets. Unfortunately, that seems to me, from what I can see, the majority of men on the world today are dust mites of all races, everywhere in the world. Letters come into this column from all over. And it's just like a recurring theme from the women is like they just all kind of messed up. So I don't know what to tell you there. You in Western Europe, Eastern Europe, well, you're all around over there. But we get letters like from Asia, Canada. I mean, everywhere. The islands, the Caribbean. I mean, just everywhere. The men are just stupid, just trash. And so when you find one who's not, it's like everybody's like, oh, what? He's like a dodo bird. He's like just about extinct. But that to me would be the approach that I would take. So you start thinking about that and the energy that you're giving off and the vibe. Like, 'cause I know you have those feelings. I'm not saying those feelings are bad. What I'm saying is in the dating market, those feelings are going to work against you, especially if you can't control them and you're projecting them to people. When you meet them, it's going to come out in how you look at them, your body language, the things you say to them, how many times you call them, the demands you make or expectations you have. All of those things are communicated. If you're too anxious for a relationship, it's going to run men off. They do the best when you don't give a fuck. It's cool if I see you and it's cool if I don't. I mean, whatever. That kind of attitude. They tend to do the best when a woman has that kind of attitude. That's all I can do for you, girlfriend, because you asked like way too many questions for this little column. Question number 17. This is a female in the 18 to 21 age group. She's mixed race from Kettering, Ohio. Oh, I wonder where that is. Summary of issues. Should I tell guys before going on dates that I'm not sleeping with them on the first date? Wow. Are you in the 18 to 21 age group? Okay. I don't like the habit that I've fallen into of getting busy on first dates because in my experience, it sets the tone for the relationship to fall into a casual space. And I didn't want to keep growing my body count with meaningless eggplant. I'm 20 years old and I don't have that much experience in relationships, but admit sometimes I also just do this because I'm scared to say no. I also don't want to be in a situation where he feels like I owe him or I've led him on after a date or something bad happens to me. Do you think I should let guys know beforehand? It's also just so alarming and upsetting to even have to contemplate this for my own safety. Mainly, being a woman can be scary as fuck sometimes. Oh, that's it? Should you tell them that before going on dates? Only if you're going to follow through. Because now, see, I look down here and you say that sometimes you're afraid to say no, and you don't want to be in a situation where he feels like you owe him or let him on. How? I mean, I wish you had to explain more how you're getting in these situations where you feel like you don't have the right to leave or say no. That's disturbing to me. Do you drive your own car? Are you going to their houses? You letting them go to yours? If you stop doing that, that alone will send a message that there ain't gonna be no action going on. You go in your car, you drive yourself to your house after the date, which you do in public. You don't go to his house and you don't let him come to yours. There's no reason for these dudes you meet to come to your house like that. And you definitely don't need to be going up in theirs. That would be a mistake. You date out in public, okay? And then you get in your car and you take your little ass home. Stop going to men's houses. That would be like a major break. This shit here is not going to happen. I don't know about letting them know because I'm of the mind that you don't need to be talking about being up under nobody's clothes on a first date. So to me, you shouldn't have this. Why would you even say that? That should be a given that that's not going to happen. But looking at how you keep getting in a situation, obviously there's something going on in Kettering, Ohio, with these weird expectations. Nobody should be expecting to run up in your body and they just met you 4 hours ago. You better take care of yourself better than this. Okay, you only got one womb. You're gonna be one of them women that's in her 30s and can't get pregnant because she had a ton of different STDs and she's got all this uterus and cervix and she's all scarred up. Don't do this. You're on the right track, but no, you don't need to say it. You just set things up so that you're not in those vulnerable positions. Got it? Date smarter. Question number 18. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group. She's Caucasian from Tempe, Arizona. The male in question is 28 to 34. Issue. My boyfriend and me live together. He asked me to leave a lot and I need some advice. What? Yeah, my boyfriend and I have lived together for 4.5 years. I am 23 and he is 28. And we have a place together. Both of us are on the lease in case you want to know. For the last 2 months, he makes me leave our apartment 2 to 5 nights or days a week so his friend can come over. Oh, he's sleeping with his friend. Oh, okay, let me finish. I hate leaving and I tell him that. He gets angry every time I try to stay at home. He doesn't care about the stress it causes me to have to leave constantly. His friend is a guy who lives about 2 hours away, if that helps. What can I do about this? Leaving is a complicated solution. Whatever it is, you need to start saving your money so when your lease is up, you can boop, because he fucking. That's the only reason in this world that he would be wanting to be at the house that often without you there. You don't want no witnesses. So your boyfriend got a boyfriend. I'm positive of it. What, don't you? Do y'all think I'm right? What other reason would a man have to kick his girlfriend out of their house so some dude could come over and he could have a alone time with his friend at night, 4 or 5 nights a week? Nah, girlfriend, your boyfriend is trash. You need to move. You know what I mean? That's immediately where my mind would go. And I would wait just as good until they thought that they was alone, like they had been together a couple of hours, and I would use my key and I would slide in there and I would want to see what was going on. And I'd bring a couple of my friends too and some cameras. Everybody had their phone up and they would take pictures of it. and make sure to immediately upload it to Facebook or some other site. Say, oh, look, what happened when I came in the house? My boyfriend would kick me out. Every night, this is why he was doing it. I'm out of here. And I'm sure if you went to your landlord and you told them that you wanted to be off the lease because of what you discarded, showed them the pictures, they would let you off the lease because you would be like, it's bad for my mental health. This is abusive. I must leave this situation immediately. And they would let you off the lease because of the trauma that you experienced and the suffering that you would be under to be forced to stay there with a man that's fucking another man while lying to you about still loving you. That's the way I would play it. And I would be like, boop, out of there and give me back my half of the deposit so I can give me a new place and make him put in some more money because he gonna stay there, not me. Then I'd be gone. That's what I would do. I would leave with picture evidence though. Have evidence. Say, oh, I'm gonna send it to your mom. You send your mom and daddy too. Look at you with this man's dick up your ass. This is some amazing shit. Question number 19. Female 18 to 21 from White Plains, New York. Male 22 to 27. Summary of issue. How to deal with an older man who's 25 who's making me and several other young women still in our teens very uncomfortable with vague threats and obsessive behavior. Wow. So she's in the 18 to 21 age group and he's 25. I'm involved in several different organizations up on my college campus, all with overlapping members. A couple of months ago, a guy was banned from one of the clubs for making members extremely uncomfortable with sexist, racist, and homophobic remarks. I was not involved in kicking him out of the club since I wasn't on their executive board, but I heard it was extremely difficult to get him to go away. He refused to leave and even showed up to several of our meetings and performances. A couple of months went by, though, without him giving us any problems. But yesterday, he came to a show put on by my organization where I'm president. I'm also female, which makes it much more difficult to deal with him. He requested to be a member of our club, and we politely declined because of the overlap of members, and all the women in my club expressed they would be severely uncomfortable. He is now making vague threats, and I am honestly concerned for the safety of myself and my members. What should I do? You should have called the police, at least the campus police. If he's been banned from the clubs and you told him you don't want him in yours because he's been banned for his behavior, that is an immediate call to the campus police to escort him off out of your club. Then I would go and file charges on him and a restraining order because of him. Now he's making threats. Then I would make sure I had me a nice couple of stun guns and all the women in the group had one. So if he came up in there acting a fool again, I would tap him in the neck with that 90,000 volts and watch him crumble to the ground. That's what I would do. Say, well, who you threatening now? Huh? What you gonna do? You should have been involving the school in this if you're in campus. Why do you young girls not use the authorities that's right around you and you want to write to me? What you think the fuck I'm gonna do and I'm way over here? You got police, campus police, you have authorities at the school, you have, deans and stuff. You have the police in your city. And you're writing to me. Y'all use your phones to text everybody in the goddamn world. You don't know how to make a call to the police department? File a case, a claim against him, and lay some charges against him for threatening you? You don't know how to do that. Oh, Lord have mercy. These girls, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? When did people get so fucking weak? It just gets on my nerves that you got women out here trying to live their life, but they don't have any clue how to defend themselves, what their rights are, how to exert their rights, how to stand up for themselves, how to maintain boundaries with these knucklehead men. They don't do anything. They just sit there and like, oh, we're uncomfortable. We're uncomfortable. Fuck uncomfortable. I said this in a video some weeks ago. Uncomfortable don't mean shit. What are you really feeling? Pressured, angry, rage, cornered like a rat, sexually harassed, stalked. I mean, what are you? Label it. Okay, label it definitively and stop saying, oh, I'm just uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. That's such a fucking weak ass word. It don't mean shit. You may label what you're really feeling and then you go call the school and you call the police and you label charges for threatening you. You tell them that you need some security at your meetings because this guy's coming to the meeting harassing you. You say everything, and you make sure that hell rains down on his fucking head. That's what you do. This is pissing me off. You politely declined. Well, I guess you would to be polite about it because you're scared of them. I'm like, fuck no, you're not going to be a member of this club. You acted a zip damn fool in the other one and got you tossed out on your ass. What makes you think somebody want to be bothered with you? Sexist, racist, homophobic, and trash. So no, you can't be in our club. We don't like members like you. That's what he would have got from me. Like I said, but I have me and JoJo will make a put a ventilate your ass. You keep getting jiggy. Don't get jiggy. Be in the hospital trying to figure out what happened. Question number 20. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group. She's Caucasian from Palm Bay, Florida. Summary of issue. I gave my number to a guy in his 50s at my gym, and I didn't really want to. How do I deal with this? I would say, see, another just week again. How are you going to give your number to somebody and you didn't want to? Where they do that at? I seen this old guy at my gym for the last 3 years. I never really talked to him until recently. I ask him about his dog all the time, and we chat a bit when we see each other. He asked me today if I want to go for a walk with him and his dog one day and asked for my number. I'm 23, by the way, and he's older than my dad. I gave it to him, but I didn't really want to. He says that I'm nice to talk to and we have some things in common. To be fair, he talks to a lot of people at my gym of all ages. It's a very rural area my parents live in, and for most people, they're just friendly here. Okay, he wants you to be going off in the bushes with him to walk his dog. You don't see where that could be a problem. I have a boyfriend that he knows about. I think he was being friendly, but my boyfriend thinks it's weird. Oh my God. That he asked me to go for a walk with him. I didn't tell my boyfriend yet about giving him my number, and I feel guilty about it. I only wanted to talk to this guy in the gym and not outside. But I see him all the time when I go to the gym, so I can't really just block him. It's the gym I go to almost every weekend when I visit my parents, and I fell in love with the gym, so I don't want to avoid it. He just texted me telling me to have a good workout, and I don't know what to say. It's been on my mind since it happened, and it's making me sick to think that it's another guy who I thought was a friend who turns out wanting something else. Why would you think some grandpa is your friend? Ooh, you are just too naive to even be walking around free. You need a leash and you need to stay in your parents' house locked up until you get some sense. Little girl, some old man is coming on to you and trying to talk to you about his dog and all this old trifling piece of shit. I don't give a fuck about your dog. I don't give a fuck about you. That's what he would have got from me. I admit I'm very rude like that, though. But one thing I was not going to do when I was your age was have some old grandpa trying to creep up on me. Old ass motherfucker dick hadn't worked in 20 years and sitting up there trying to think he going to get some play from a girl 25 years younger than he is. Please, get out of here. And I would have sure had to tell him that, too. And so, you sitting up there wanting to go for a walk in the woods, in the dark, in the bushes. And you think that's a good idea to even, when he suggested that, all you had to do is say, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't go on walks with strange men in the woods. That's sound like the plot of a murder movie. And you could laugh it off and he would be like, oh, I have no intention to say, yeah, I know Edward Kemper said the same thing. Anyway, I'm going to do my workout now. Talk to you later. And walk the fuck off. See, the issue here is not that he's old and this and that. The issue is that you don't have any boundaries, that you don't have any strength, and that you are struggling to say no to people. So you just allow yourself to become a victim. You allow yourself to be pressured and cajoled into stuff. You don't stand up for yourself and you don't say no. All he had to do when you said, can I get your number? Say no. I'll talk to you when I'm in the gym, but I'm not trying to make contact with people, in my personal life. I'll, talk to you when I see you here. That's all you had to say. And he would have been like, oh, and then that would have been the end of it. You didn't have to give him your number. Oh, Lord. Why do I keep saying this? Why do I keep having to say this? After 30 years, I'm getting tired. Getting tired of saying this. It's like these parents are just failing their daughters miserably. They're not telling them nothing. And then they send them out here into the world and they're just like babes in the woods, don't know shit, don't have no concept of how to protect themselves, have no boundaries, never taught the girls how to say no. And then the girls just, I don't know, just going through life, just people pleasing and bending over backwards and too afraid to say no or stand up for themselves. It's like a fucking epidemic amongst women, and it's driving me crazy. It just drives me crazy. Girl, high blood. Well, that's probably why he in the gym trying to make himself stay alive. But I don't know, when old men, try to holler at young women, I just have to say something, even if they're not trying. I'm certainly not in that group, but when I see it happening around me, I jump in. Because the girls, they just look like deers in headlights. They don't really know what to say, except the little hood girls. They know what to say. But, just regular little, they don't know what to do with that. They don't know what to say. And so then, here I am. Like, why are you messing with that little teenager? You ought to be ashamed of yourself with your gray headed ass. Go on over there somewhere and leave that child alone. Pervert. I say stuff like that to them. I'm BART station, so I just really don't care. And they be looking at you all kind of crazy. Some of them try to make jokes. Oh, I'm just trying to be friendly. Fuck you and your friendly. Leave that man, leave that little girl alone. She don't not trying to be dealing with your ancient ass. Leave her alone. I'm just like, ooh, these dudes, they just be too much. And then they look at you all mad. Well, what, sister, you don't got to be like that. Obviously, I do. Because you don't have no kind of boundaries and don't want to leave people the fuck alone. That's a kid. Leave her the fuck alone. Okay, just going about your business. And so, that's how I do. And then I have my hand on my stun gun in case I got to drop a motherfucker. Zap, zap. I just been looking at just itching to tap somebody with it. Sometimes I just press the button just so I can see the sparks and hear the sound. Then I wonder how would that feel if I hit somebody with that? What would happen to them? I just want to test it out so bad. So, I'm just itching for an opportunity, but alas, it never presents itself. So anyway, let's move on. Female 22 to 27. She's European. She's in Manchester, UK. And the guy in question is in the 36 to 42 age group. He says, I'm 23. She says, I'm 23 and ready to have kids, but my partner, who is going on 40, is hesitant. I need advice. You know why he's hesitant? Because he's a grandpa. He's grandpa age, and you up there 23 talking about you want to have a baby with somebody old enough to be a grandpa. He's got better sense than you do. Okay, let's see. Move on to read on here. He's turning 40 this year, and I'm 23. We're not married, but headed in that direction. The problem is, I don't know what he's thinking as far as having kids. I've talked to him casually about it, but he never seems excited. I just get a nonchalant type of attitude from him. It would be easier if he just straight said no, but he doesn't. He sounds more undecided. No, he's decided, but he doesn't want to say no because he knows you'll leave him. Says you want to have kids, which is what you should do because he's too fucking old. Girl, just think about this for a minute. Okay, you 23. So say you guys, 5 years, you date, you get married, whatever, and you want to have a baby. So, you finally try, and then 24, 25, say 24, you get pregnant, you had a baby, you're 25. Okay, so that means, and that's going quick. Okay, that's only 2 years away. So 3 years. So he would be 43 with a newborn baby. So you add 18 years to that, because that's going to be when the kid graduates high school and starts college. His motherfucking ass is going to be collecting Social Security before the kid graduates from college. Does that sound like a sensible arrangement to you? You're looking at right now, you're not looking at 20 years down the road. What kid do you think wants to have a father when the father comes to school? They mean, oh, your grandpa's so nice. That's not my grandpa, that's my dad. And they're going to be like, wow, he's so old. And you'll be sitting there looking stupid with this old grandpa on your arm. And don't let his health start deteriorating because men don't be taking care of themselves. So they start breaking down at 55. So you're likely to have a stroke or heart attack or something. You have to be pushed him in a wheelchair. Or he go to the graduation and shit, trying to walk. Seeing your son get married, his ass is all killed over in the wheelchair in his 70s. If he make it that long. So, all in all, this is a really bad idea. I'm not even going to read the rest of your letter because the direction it's going in is stupid. You need to correct course and date somebody close to your age and be having babies by. Plus, he old and the kids going to be having birth defects and shit. They be having that sperm be deteriorated and stuff. And your kids going to have learning disabilities and eye in the middle of his forehead and all short arms and all kind of shit's gonna be going on. Don't do it. Question number 22. Female 18 to 21. She's African American from Smyrna, Georgia. Summary of issue. My male friend keeps hitting on me and I don't know how to turn him down. Oh God, here's another one with no boundaries. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I'm just kind of irritated. Okay, summary of issue. My male friend. Okay, I already read that part. Okay, for some backstory, the beginning of our friendship was kind of rocky to begin with. He got hired at the restaurant I worked at, and during the first shift I worked with him, he told a mutual friend that he thought I was cute. He's 19 and I'm 18. I guess my friend must have given him my social media accounts because that night he added me on both Instagram and Snapchat. He would regularly flirt with me, and every time I would try to turn him down politely, but then, after a couple of days of us chatting, I stopped responding to his message and he didn't take it well. Long story short, he unadded me on Snapchat. I didn't really care much at the time because I was going back to college anyway. If we did work shifts together, it would be unlikely that we see each other because he'd be on Dish and I'd be on drive-thru. Oh, I guess it's a fast food place. Fast forward to December, I came home from college for winter break and obviously was going to work with him. I was worried it was going to be awkward, but at some point, my work friends added him to this group chat we had, and he and I mutually decided to just forget about it and start it over. In the beginning, he flirted with me a lot, so I lied and told him I had a boyfriend because I was tired of turning him down. So he stopped flirting with me. Okay, the flirting was nonstop, and I turned him down countless times. During this time, we became pretty good friends, and I forgot that lie that I had told him. How you gonna forget your lie? You're not a good liar. Recently, though, he asked me how my boyfriend was, and I was confused until I remembered the lie I told him. That was months later, to be honest. I did really feel bad for lying and looking at a logical standpoint, it would get complicated. Blah, blah, blah. So I told her that my boyfriend and I broke up, and ever since then, he's been flirting with me nonstop. I don't know what to do because he was actually pretty fun to hang out with, and I'm scared that we'll lose our friendship if I turned him down harshly, especially because he has a history of taking harsh rejection poorly. If we stop being friends, I'm worried it will affect the friend group at work since we're both a part of it. And it's not like I can just quit my job either since it would be hard to find another one that pays $15 an hour with flexible schedules. Maybe I should just come up with another lie. I just don't know anymore at this point. Okay, so first of all, you have decided without even looking that it's going to be, quote, hard to find another job that pays $15 an hour with flexible schedule. Do you understand you working at a fast food restaurant, how many of them are desperate for employees, especially one with experience? You can probably go in there making more than $15 an hour because you have experience now, right? But you haven't looked, so you've already set it up in your mind that you're trying to escape the situation. You would fail. That's your first mistake. Your second mistake is you in this letter you express concern about everybody else's feelings except for your own. See, Deb thinks about Deb first. I wouldn't give a fuck about that friend group. I'll find new friends. I wouldn't give a fuck about him because he ain't a friend anyway. He just look at angling for opportunity, and you mistakenly think that's a friend of yours. He ain't no friend of yours. This motherfucker has not stopped trying to be up in your panties since he met you. And you just dumb and sitting up there telling, oh, it was friendly, it was fun hanging out with him. He was waiting for you to break up with that dude so he could slide in there. And you fucked up and forgot your lie, your protective cover. Whew, Lord. You don't seem to have it in you, but the best thing that you could do is tell this guy, look, you've been trying to get at me for all these years and it hasn't happened yet. You know why? Because I'm not attracted to you like that. It's never going to happen. I don't know what you're thinking about. You should go and get you a different girlfriend, someone who loves and cares about you, because that's never going to be me. And you say that that's harsh. I think that's honest. I don't know. You see that the being nice weak way doesn't work. So why don't you try something different? And he was doing all of this at work. Why didn't you tell your manager that he was sexually harassing you and to make him stop? But you see, you didn't do that either. So, it just makes me look like when you young girls don't even take any action to defend yourself and you don't take any action to put the hammer down on these fools, what does it look like? It looks like you okay with it. I'm not going to go as far as to say you like it, but it looks like you're okay with it, and that's why you keep accepting it. That's the message that you're sending to these dudes when you don't take a strong position against it. Get the police involved, get your managers involved, go file a sexual harassment lawsuit against him and the managers if they don't do anything. scream when he comes near you, change jobs, change your number. You don't do anything. You do nothing except take it and worry about it and fret and work my nerves writing me about it. Get off your ass and do something. Okay? Do something. You haven't done anything. In all these years, you haven't really done anything. Oh, I've told him I'm not going to do. Yeah. You haven't cussed him out, right? You haven't told him, look, if you keep bothering me the fuck out of me like this, I'm going to report you to the management for sexual harassment and you'll get fired. Is that what you want? You haven't done that, did you? Did you tell everybody that you're going to change your number and they better not give it to him? Did you do that? Nope, you didn't do that either. Did you block him on your social media? Nope, you didn't do that either. You waited for him to unadd you. So you see what I'm saying here? You did not take you didn't do anything. You did not do one thing to protect yourself or advocate for yourself. Not one fucking thing in all these years. So I don't know what else to tell you. Question number 23, female, 22 to 27. She's white from Concord, California. Some of the issue, wondering if there's a point to dating as a woman. Judging by the letters that have come through tonight, absolutely no point at all. None. Y'all work my nerves. There's not enough wine in my cup. I've drank it all. It's gone. I need more because my nerves. Okay, here we go. I'm starting to think there's not. I'm 21, but I'm already lost my libido and my desire to date in general because of how I've seen 99% of men behave. It seems most of them just view women as collectible objects. They're obsessed with comparing us to cars in particular. Then when we get too old, sick, or our bodies change after giving birth, or they're just bored, they throw us out and exchange us for a new toy. Or they at least fantasize about doing it. Look at how many men are jealous of Leonardo DiCaprio. They all wish they could do what he does. What does he do? I must have missed something. I was watching some TikToks of a woman who DMs taken men to see if they'll cheat. Literally all of them do it given the chance. They'll give up decades-long relationship, kids, everything, just for 10 minutes of pleasure with another woman, especially if she's younger because they're obsessed with teenagers. Every woman I know got catcalled at most around between the ages of 12 to 15. Or on popcorn sites, all of the most popular videos are petite women with pigtails, braces, and stuffed animals. Oh, that's gross. Are you kidding me? They'll even say that women should just accept polygamy because men are wired to want variety in women. It seems that we just have to accept being told we're worthless after a certain age, that we will never be enough for a man, that the only thing that matters to him are looks, eggplant, and obeying all of his orders. Look at how many men say they don't care about a woman's intellect or sense of humor, just how hot and submissive she is. I don't understand how I'm supposed to want a partner knowing all this. I feel very heartbroken because I've always wanted a true romantic love, but I don't think it exists for men. And if your only response is going to be, well, not all men, or call me a misandrist, please don't bother because I've already heard that before. Well, fuck you, little bitch. You don't tell me what to do. You don't tell me what to say. Say the fuck I want to say on my advice column. But just because of that, you piss me off. And not like I would ever say not all men. That's not the modus operandi on this channel. I hold men their motherfucking asses accountable. So this bullshit that you just wrote here, guess what? You don't get an answer. What I just said, that's your answer. Question number 24, female, 28 to 34. She's African American from Terre Haute, Indiana. Summary of issue: dating after divorce with a young child. See how they do. Yeah, she was on a roll there until she got to the end. You don't tell me shit about what to say, ever. People will say that you lucky you didn't get cussed out really bad, okay? But just I don't do well with people telling me what to do. My dad didn't tell me what to do, and your bitch ass is certainly not gonna do it. Okay, you don't give me no orders. What the fuck you think you are? Lost your goddamn mind. Anyway, question 24. She's from Terre Haute, Indiana. Summary of issue: dating after divorce with a young child. Hey, Auntie Deb, I'm looking for advice. I'm in the middle of the divorce process. However, we have been separated and single for a while. He immediately moved on and is on his second girlfriend since the divorce. I've been working on myself and focusing on our daughter, who right now I have 100% custody of. I have recently started joining dating apps and I have been asked out on a few dates, but I always end up canceling though. With working between my daughter, it's hard for me to feel like dating is worth taking time away from my kid or my job. It sounds bad, but in my head, I have a hard time following through because it's hard to know if someone is worth spending my limited free time on a date rather than with my daughter. I've been separated in the middle of getting a divorce. Okay. Is this normal? Wondering if other women who felt this way initially got through it and started dating again or actually follow through on going on dates. Yeah, they do, but first of all, your ass is still not even divorced yet. But you already on the hunt for some dick? What's wrong with you? And no, don't matter what he does. He doesn't have the kid. So you have the child. So your job is not only to get through this divorce and to help her get through the divorce, right? You got to deal with her emotions about being separated from her daddy. Did you lose focus here? Your top priority is that kid. Okay. So you focus on her and what she needs to get stable and, get herself back together after witnessing her parents break up. That should be your top focus. You should not be looking around for some new dick. Okay. It's not the time for that. It's time to focus on your child and to heal yourself. Get your shit straight, lady. Your mind is all on some bullshit right now. You don't worry about that. And at least you had enough sense to cancel, but your priorities are all fucked up. Right now, you should be focusing on getting yourself stable financially, mentally, and emotionally, getting your daughter stable mentally and emotionally, psychologically, whatever, and then rebuilding your life. Okay, your life as a single mother. That's what your focus should be on right now, not some motherfuckers and they dicks. Okay, that's you on some bullshit. So this right now, you're not even divorced yet, or even separated and single for a while. Is whatever it is, it's not long enough because you're still married. Okay, you're still married. Did you forget that part? So even if you did meet a nice guy, what you would have to offer him? He wants to be with a single woman and you married and going through some bullshit that's going to be tearing you upside down and topsy turvy. The final thing I want to remind you of is when you have a female child, you can't be bringing them around a bunch of different men. Sometimes men will get with you because you dumb and you obviously don't seem to know this. They will get to you just so they can get to your daughter. They're not interested in you at all. They want your kid. And you, dummy, focusing on that instead of focusing on what's going on with your daughter. That's all you should be thinking about right now. That's it. That's all. So get your mind right. Get off these dating apps. Stop focusing on chasing dick and worry about your kid. Just being stupid. Just because your ex-husband is stupid don't mean you have to be too. Dumb and immature. You too old for this. 28 to 34. You're too old to be acting like this. This is some shit the young kids do. Oh, Lord. I mean, after every letter, I'm just sitting up here like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with these women? You know what? I have a bottle of wine that I have to open. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna open it and I'm gonna just go glue, 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 straight out the bottle. That's what I'm gonna do. Oh, Lord have mercy. These people are challenging my nerves today. Question number 25. This is the final letter of this crazy night. I hope she listens too, because she's the kind that don't seem like she gonna listen until something horrible happens to her daughter or to her or maybe both. And then she gonna have an epiphany and be writing back talking about, oh my God, I should have listened to you. Female 18 to 8, I'm sorry, 28 to 34. God, I can't even see. I'm so pissed. 28 to 34, no location provided. Summary of issue. This guy has not asked me out for a second date, but he keeps texting me. Okay. Well, he can only keep texting you because you haven't blocked him. You do realize that, right? You have the power here. But let's see what you say. I've been talking to this 30-year-old guy for a few months. We had a nice first date, and he asked me immediately when I was available again. We did schedule a second date, however, he got sick. After he got very busy and sick and had to go a lot of doctor for tests about to find out what was wrong with him. Meanwhile, he kept texting me every few days, kept asking me questions, etc. I have hinted a few times to rescheduling the date, however, it always goes unplanned and stays vague. I feel like I don't want to pressure him too much as he clearly has not been super well. He told me he's a bit socially burnt out from life in general. I feel like the situation is nagging at me a bit. I've been dating other people also, but this guy stays in my head. What do I do? Number one, I ask clearly for another date, saying, I'm interested in seeing you again. Do you have time this week? Or number two, put the ball in his court, like, let me know when you feel better and want to reschedule our date. Or number three, let it fizzle out and continue being pen pals. Or number four, another option. Many thanks in advance. Number four, another option. First of all, let it fizzle out is already fizzled out. Only because you can't date nobody by phone, and that's what you would do. I mean, you should be this. I mean, you're a grown woman. What are you doing? Why are you letting him do this to you? This is some teenager shit. So what you do is he texts you back, and you text him and say, look, I don't want to have a relationship with a man by text. So if this is all you got to offer, let's just stop wasting each other's time and say, I was nice meeting you, and I hope you get well soon. And goodbye, and then you block him. That's all you have to do. You don't have to accept this. You do know that, right? Just because this is what he's offering, that you don't have to accept it. You have the power to put that boundary in place. It's like, I don't want this kind of relationship. I don't want this kind of interaction in my life. I don't want this. I see this as a waste of my time and energy. I don't want you bothering me anymore. Just going over there and concentrate on fixing whatever's broken in you. And you do that, okay? And you just block him. That's all you have to do. You have the power here. You're not going to ask him out again. You're not going to ask him out, and you're not going to suggest getting together. You're not going to take the lead in anything. He canceled because he got sick. So the ball is in his court. If he wanted to see you again once he got better, he was supposed to pick up the phone and say, oh, yeah, let's pick up where we left off, blah, 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 blah. That's how a man would do it. But he's not being a man. He's just being a little whiny, pissy baby. Oh, my life is so hard. And, I've just been kind of out of it lately, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Trying that pity approach and see if you start to bend, you starting to fold. You should be like, well, I hope you do well, better, but, I really don't have time in my life to be playing Nurse Ratched. So you concentrate on yourself getting better, and I'll talk to you in another lifetime. That's what men would do with you. I understand why you women be so soft and caring so much about they dumbasses. I wish I would. As soon as he canceled on me, I would have blocked his number the first time. It's like, I got sick. Well, I hope your bitch ass dies. What you want from me? And don't think I'm coming to your funeral either. Anyway, if you enjoyed tonight, which was crazy, I know. This is some really horrible. These people, something wrong with them. Anyway, I just scheduled a show. We had a Friday night get together, girls' night. That's what's happening on Friday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to have girl talk. We're going to have some gossip. We got some laughs. We're going to have all kinds of stuff going on. It's on Friday evening. If you don't have a date, you don't have nothing more interesting to do, come hang out with us. You can come and, talk, and you can ask your questions you want to. Of course, you got to pay for it if you don't. A little tip is always welcome. But, ideally, it's not really an advice show per se. It's, us talking about issues and our feelings about certain things that we've seen happen in the news or in social media. Maybe found something interesting, something maybe that happened in your own family. You just want to get everybody's input on it. That kind of show. It's really that kind of show. But sometimes people do come with advice questions, so that the same $10, fee would apply. But it's really not about that. But, I guess I won't turn you down if you really need some help. But ideally, it's going to be an audience participation. I always post the link so you can call in, and then we have a good time. Okay? That's going to be this Friday, 2 days from now at 6 Pacific. So I hope you enjoyed the wacky advice show, and please don't go and repeat the mistakes that these people made. Please don't do like them. Maintain your boundaries. Always hold your head up high. Maintain your levels of respect for yourself. And if you have children, do everything you can to protect them. Kids are really at risk these days. I don't know what's going on. It's like something's wrong with these men. And they are after your kids more than they're after you. So be very cognizant of that and take care and protect yourself and your babies. I'll see you guys on Friday night. Take care.